Anton Chekhov. In this session, we'll be learning a little about Anton Chekhov. We'll learn about his life and also his works. We shall be learning about Anton Chekhov and also develop taste for reading his works. Anton Chekhov is a Russian playwright and short story writer. He has written four classics, but his short stories are regarded high by critics. Born into a family of serfs, Chekhov moved on to be a medical doctor. He worked very hard, but was lured into the field of literature. He once said, "Medicine is my lawful wife, and literature is my mistress." Chekhov was influenced by his mother, who was an amazing storyteller. That must have influenced him to become such a master storyteller. His abusive father left the family bankrupt. But then one of his friends bailed the family out by buying their house and probably resulted in the character Lopakin from Cherry Orchard. Anton Chekhov sold goldfinches and also engaged tuitions for his expenses. Anton Chekhov, as a writer, he wrote under the pseudonyms Antosha Shekonte, which means man without a spleen, and he was asked to slow down and write less, which actually made Chekhov contemplate about his works. He was writing at a great speed, churning out books after books, and Dmitry Grigorovich asked him to slow down. The words of Grigorovich inspired him to work with more intensity. And then we have this beautiful work, At Dusk, which won him a Pushkin Prize. Philosophical perspective. His trip to Ukraine helped him to broaden his perspective about beauty. This resulted in the novella The Steppe, which has been called Dictionary of Chekhov's Poetics. Ivanov, written within a fortnight and which wasn't liked much by Chekhov, created a dramatic principle which has become popular as Chekhov's gun. And Chekhov's gun requires that anything used in a narrative has to be relevant and used. Say, for instance, there is a gun in scene one on stage, which has to be used at least by the third or the fourth act. Sakhalin journey to Sakhalin Island left him shocked and enraged. And many a times it happens with many of us at some point of time. Something really uh, makes us look at the world in a different way. The perspective changes, and so the Sakhalin Island shocked him. The human life was found in the most pathetic condition. He published his findings in the work of social science, The Island of Sakhalin. The murder was the expression of what he found in Sakhalin, and Chekhov was too kind-hearted to charge any fee from his poor patients. He even would make visits which increased his expenditure. His interaction with the poor patients is reflected in his work, Peasants. He recorded every visit in his notebook and has mentioned about his visits to the upper class and scoffs at aristocracy. He took to gardening, agriculture, horticulture, and tended to them as his own children, a life lived to the fullest. Though he was diagnosed with tuberculosis, he never disclosed it to anyone, and at the very young age of 44, he breathed his last. Some of his phenomenal works: Uncle Vanya, Three Sisters, Cherry Orchard, Seagull, along with the short stories. Short stories, there are so many, yet I've just given a few of them. We have Sleepy, a dreary story, an anonymous story, The Murder, Terror, and Peasants. And with this list, Though the list is pretty big, I've just given a few, which probably will help the readers um, search for those books and read a little more. So, with this, I end this session. Thank you so much.